They have to share the wealth in that regard.
Boston was pushed out. 7 to shoot. Boston methodical on her take. After they had fallen behind by 6 in the quarter, then Sydney Colson, as Aliyah Boston has an extended conversation with the officials, and then is gonna get over to Angel Gray. Angel?
Aliyah Boston left the court visibly frustrated after Kelsey Mitchell's 24-point effort kept the Fever alive despite missing Caitlin Clark, Sydney Colson, and Ari McDonald. They had fought back from 17 down and still had a chance to win, but a rushed shot, no timeout, and controversial late calls sealed the loss. A finish the coach later questioned.
7-0 Indiana run. They're within 2 on a foul. This time, Peckers does get the call.
I thought this might have been an offensive foul. Howard for the finish.
Indiana's considering challenging this call, but they will not, as Peckers gets free.
How do you run an offense when your entire point guard rotation disappears overnight? For Indiana, this was reality. Days before facing Dallas, disaster struck in the Phoenix game when Sydney Colson tore her left ACL and Ari McDonald fractured a bone in her right foot, both season-ending injuries. With Caitlin Clark already out since July with a groin injury, the Fever were suddenly without their top 3 point guards, leaving them with no true ball handlers, no one to handle full court pressure, and no one to run the offense as it was built.
So what's the reaction been from you guys, the players, the coaches, to losing Sid and Ari?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just brokenhearted for them. They are 2 really good people that you hate to see this happen to. They've been an integral part of what we've been doing, and so hate it for them. Unfortunately, it's part of the deal, and we've got to roll with it. And we've got players in that locker room who believe in one another. Players in that locker room who are as competitive as all get out. We've got versatility, and it's going to have to be on full display. So I think now it's about playing to honor them, right, and playing for them.
The ripple effect was immediate. Without a true facilitator to control possessions, breaking defensive pressure became a struggle. Turnovers mounted, and simple entry passes turned into contested battles. Against Dallas, the Cracks showed 17 turnovers that the Wings converted into 27 points, more than a quarter of their offense coming straight from Indiana's mistakes before the Fever could even set up in the half court. Every trip down the floor drained more energy, every pass carried greater risk, and the already thin margin for error vanished completely.
It's never fun to lose. I thought we got a pretty good look out of it, but again, I think we shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. The 17 turnovers got us there. We shouldn't have even been there, but I thought Kelsey got a look at it. It's unfortunate, but yeah, on to the next.
To keep a functional rotation, the front office made an emergency signing, bringing in veteran Odyssey Sims on a hardship contract. With barely a day to learn the playbook or develop chemistry, she was thrown straight into action against Dallas. In 13 minutes, she went scoreless, recorded 2 assists and 1 turnover, and spent much of her time figuring out where teammates wanted the ball instead of playing on instinct.
Just excited. I know that Indiana is a great organization, and just to be a part of it and just to be here with the great players that I'm going to be playing with, this is a great opportunity. I'm just happy to be here.
What's the most important thing for you in a situation like this to just get acclimated, just to kind of get your feet under you and feel your way around the new spot here?
It's not my first time just coming to a new team and coming in and just being me. The biggest thing is just doing what I do best. Playing defense, playing hard, doing whatever the team needs. Obviously, I know they've been down with the injuries. Prayers up for Sid and Ari. Love them both. But like I said, I'm excited to be here, and I'm not going to do too much. But whatever coach tells me to do, that's what I'm going to do and have fun and enjoy my teammates.
That left Indiana with only one real option for handling the ball on nearly every possession, moving Kelsey Mitchell out of her natural scoring role and into the lead guard position. The coaching staff couldn't ease her into the change. Every inbound, every offensive set, and all the defensive attention fell directly on her. It wasn't just a tactical shift, it altered the physical demands of her game, forcing her to initiate possessions under relentless pressure while still being counted on as the team's primary scoring threat.
She obviously can play make, as she showed in the last game, but it's not like her most natural way of playing, I would say. Do you have to tell her to focus on that? Does she just kind of know that as the primary ball handler of these games, she'll do it? How does that kind of process work when it's not a true point guard at the one?
Yeah, I want her to just do what she's been doing. She's been excellent all year long. She's been efficient all year long. Her decision-making has been on point all year long.
The Dallas game was a clear snapshot of how much those injuries shaped the flow. With a makeshift backcourt, every basket required exhausting effort, and every turnover fueled an opponent's run. Yet even in that weakened state, they stayed in it until the end, because the player carrying the heaviest load refused to back down. For Indiana, that burden fell on Kelsey Mitchell, their most lethal pure scorer, who was suddenly tasked with running the offense from start to finish. Normally she's catching the ball ready to score, not bringing it up through traps or orchestrating half-court sets. But without Colson, McDonald, or Clark, she was the only realistic option to initiate, and Dallas knew it.
Every single playoff game will be on our networks. As Mitchell finally gets a look, her first points of the second half. Caroline doesn't get the whistle. Indiana with numbers the other way. Mitchell in the corner. Cut it! Big game from Aisha Hines-Allen off the bench. Mitchell sprints into the lane, finds Cunningham. She got it. On a three, and it's a single-digit deficit.
On paper, her stat line looked impressive. 24 points on 7 of 15 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3, and 6 rebounds. But in reality, nearly every possession started in her hands against defenses built to drain her energy. Dallas sent extra pressure in the backcourt, using traps and quick doubles to turn every advance into a fight. Each made basket was immediately followed by another trip where she had to break pressure while still finding the focus and stamina to score.
Mitchell trying to create with 5 to shoot. Mitchell through the lane. Now to scoop it in. And it's a 1 game.
Arch right, but you know she loves to go left. How many defenders try to come over and help about 3 and still able to scoop it up and in?
Mitchell with 24 points.
It showed in moments, a few turnovers. Some forced passes when lanes closed too quickly, yet Mitchell kept finding ways to keep the fever in the game. In the fourth quarter, down by double digits, she drained a deep 3 well beyond the arc and immediately signaled her teammates to lock in on defense. Moments later, she ran a crisp pick and roll with Boston, threading the pass perfectly for an easy 2. These weren't just scoring plays. They were clear examples of leadership on the court.
Mitchell trying to create with 5 to shoot. Mitchell through the lane. Able to scoop it in. And it's a 1 game. Indiana ball down 1.7 to go. Cunningham has to get it in. Mitchell in the corner. Can't hit. And Dallas hangs on. 81-80 the final as the Wings win a thriller in Indy.
So I wanted us to outlet and attack in transition. When it got to the point where we didn't attack and we just started dribbling sideways, I probably should have used it at the 3-second mark instead of a little bit later. I thought Kels might have had a baseline drive, that she ended up coming back to the middle. And so I didn't like that. But I did want us to push in transition with a low clock and, limited opportunity.
Gets it back for to shoot. Cunningham into the corner. Bibby again. Chloe Bibby breathing life into Indiana. A 19-0 Dallas run. Bibby carries the 3, just like in the first half when here's Cunningham. Off to Boston. Boston turns the corner. Spinning inside and laying it in.
Chloe, you were on the floor during that late third stretch when the Wings went on that run. What did you see that went sideways for you guys in that stretch?
We were just turning over the ball. I mean, yeah, as I said, the 17 turnovers, and I think we just didn't match their physicality, and, we needed to clean it up, and I think that's what happened in the fourth, and the girls come in and they really looked after the ball and, shared the ball offensively, and I think that's how we got into more of a groove. It really started defensively, and in that third, we just let it slide. They had way too many, points off our turnovers.
You could overturn it to an offensive foul. You could also maintain that it's a foul but take away the continuation. All of those things could happen here on this call.
The interesting thing is, when you get to this point of the play, it is a foul on Boston. But it's because her arm was clamped earlier in the play.
Look at that.
What can she do there?
She literally can do nothing. I don't know how that's not overturned to an offensive foul.
I agree with you.
That looks about as clear as it gets.
And you saw how quickly Stephanie White challenged that.
As a review, we have no illegal conduct by Euro, so the call will stand as confirmed. This will be also. Indiana will lose their challenge as well as their timeout. One shot for Euro. Thank you.
That's stunning. I mean, Aliyah Boston, look at her. Lee puts her one hand down and then pins Boston down with her other arm.
I gotta say, Rebecca, I'm sure we'll get an explanation from Sue Blau at some point soon.
Paige backers putting her hands on Sophie to shove her up. You see Sophie's hand in the air. Both hands are in the air right here. And Paige Beckers is shoving. She is shoving her clean off. Boom. Pushed her right into Howard. Pushed her into Howard. Now she's wide open and waiting for a pass like she just didn't do anything. Like she just didn't do anything. Wide open down here. Look at it. And then all of a sudden you get the whistle. And look at the ref. You see the ref? You see the ref right here. Calling the foul. And guess who the foul was on? Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a physical game. You know, I think there's a double standard in how people get their calls. I think Kelsey Mitchell, number one, is held or chucked on every freaking possession and never gets a call off the ball. I think Aliyah Boston is the worst officiated post player in the league. She never gets a call. And you know, there's a double standard there, certainly. But you know, again, if it's going to be physical and you're gonna allow us to be physical, then allow both teams to be physical. If you're going to call the holds and you're going to call the chucks, and you're going to then call it both ways. So I mean, I think that we've been pretty consistent in what we're asking for, and I didn't feel like it was consistent, especially for those two. I think you could call a foul every time down the floor for those two.
Did you feel like it was so clunky or disjointed on that end of the floor?
I think it got better as the game went on, but I think just starting, I think the physicality level was a little bit different on both sides of the ball, and but for us, really, I think it's got to be our focus. Like, we got to make sure that we're connected on that end, making sure that we're in the right places for passes, and just being more conscious of us having that ball.